Mwenye mlisema hatuendi mbali. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Mwalimu mama.
Baby, can you focus on me? Hands in the stove, had a faucet running in.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope mko poa, because me I'm fine, eh? I'm doing good. And today I'm back with another video. Great. Anyway, in today's video we're going to be talking about cultural shocks I experienced when I moved from Kenya to Canada. Let's hop right in. I have a long list of all the cultural shocks I experienced, and I wrote them down on my phone. Like if you see, I have like over 50 cultural shocks I experienced. So the first thing that really shocked me is you call elders by their names. Hakuna Mr. There's no Mrs. Like if your name is Francis, you're Francis. Whether you're 50 years old, 80 years old, 15 years old, you're Francis, okay? This applies to your in-laws, your boss, your professor. You call them by their names. That really shocked me, because obviously back home we are taught to call elders like maybe sir, mom or something. And even when you're talking to your in-laws, you don't call them mom or dad. You call them by their name. So if it's Shanice, it's Shanice. If it's Edward, it's Edward, not mom, okay? The second thing that shocked me is cursing, like the F word, B word, everything. People do it everywhere. Like you can be having a conversation with your boss at work and he'll just throw in the cuss word there, and you're like, okay. And at school, even when your professor is lecturing, some of them like to throw in these words in there, and it was really shocking for me because back home it's not common for people to curse like openly all the time. These guys, like most of them, there's no sentence that ends without them cursing. It's that serious. Another thing that shocked me is women of all ages smoking. Young, middle-aged, old, really, really old. Everyone smokes, and I was shocked because back home it's not common for women to smoke cigarettes, or maybe I didn't see them. But here it's everywhere. No matter the age, you'll find an 80-year-old woman with a cigarette in her mouth. Another thing that shocked me is weed. Y'all have been trying to legalize this thing since I don't know when. Here I can order weed on Uber Eats. I do not partake, but I support. You can find weed stores literally everywhere, and it's not just weed. They have gummies, edibles, juice, chewing gum, literally everything infused with marijuana, every single thing. And also over here they've embraced weed as a drug, and people can actually get a prescription from the hospital, like from the doctor, allowing them to use weed, and it's known as medical marijuana. So you get like a prescription for it. And also some people use weed, cannabis, to treat things like epilepsy, some types of cancers, etc. So over here weed is everything, to be honest. They use it everywhere. You even have like weed infused treats for dogs, like for cats, for dogs, for animals as well. So weed culture over here shocked me 100%. And then Uber, tell me why you have to have linked your bank card to the Uber app to pay. Hakuna M-Pesa. You can pay cash. Like you have to pay on the app with your bank card. I definitely didn't know that, and I was shocked the first time because I got in an Uber, and then this guy, we finished our trip in Meshuka. This guy ataniuliza for money. He didn't ask me for payment, and I was like, is the trip free? I was so confused, but I didn't know the Uber app takes the money directly from your bank account. Now I do. Another thing is the atilunis, tunis, moonies, boonies. What the hell? Like it's so confusing because you can be asking for change, and then someone tells you, can I have 2 loonies and a toonie? What's that? Hiyo ni nini? You know, like such things really confuse me at first because I don't know what the hell those things are. What do you mean? And then another thing is, this is a big one. Mbona huyo mtu came to me and told me that you speak English so well and you're from Africa. Excuse? People think we don't speak English in Africa. Like people were like, how long have you been in Canada? And I'd tell them maybe 1 year. Back then I've been here for almost 4 years. So like back then they'd be like, how long have you been here? And I'm like 3 months or a year. And they're like, wow, you learned how to speak English so fast. Please, I've been speaking English ever since I was a child, okay? Like it's so annoying when people assume y'all don't speak, like we don't speak English in Africa. And then another thing that shocked me is when you go to a hotel, like for example, you want to stay in a hotel. In Kenya, literally, you just go and you stay and then you pay when you leave, I guess. Over here, if your hotel room costs $250, my friend, you cannot go to that hotel with $250. You need to have at least $500 in your account because they require a deposit, like just in case you steal, you destroy stuff. You're not supposed to smoke in the room, so if you smoke, like if you break any of those rules, they stay with your deposit. So if you're going to stay in a hotel, make sure you have like extra money because you'll end up leaving a maybe $200 deposit with the amount for your room. And then after, like during checkout, they'll go and make sure everything is right in the room, and then they'll refund the money, so you'll get it back. But it's important to have. I didn't know that. Another thing about hotels over here, you cannot go to a hotel and try booking without a debit or credit card. Like they require those things, and you have to. That's the first thing they ask for literally when you get there, your ID and your credit or debit card. So that's shocking because literally in Kenya you can just go and give them cash or M-Pesa or pay bill, but here like no card, no service. And it's not at the Apple Pay, it has to be the physical card. And then another thing that shocked me is the transportation system. Let me tell you guys an embarrassing story. So I've gotten on the bus with my friend, yeah, and then you know, in Kenya, when it's time to alight, like at your stop, you sometimes in the Matatu, you gonga your coin like this at the side, and then the toot will know, like, okay, someone needs to get off. Ama unasema shukisha. Tell me why. I got on the bus, and I'm watching, like, I'm like, okay, so what do I do when I want to get off? Like, do I go and tell the driver, shukisha, nimefika? About like, what do you do? And then I just observe people end up, like, there's a button you press, and then it's going to notify the driver that there's someone who needs to alight at a certain stop. I didn't know that, and I really like that because it's way more organized, yeah? And sometimes with the Matatu, with the shukisha thing, sometimes the man number doesn't even hear you, so he ends up taking you like literally 2 stops away. Kasababu haja kusikia. You know, because of that. Sips tea. Another thing that shocked me when I moved over here is taxes. You know, when you're still in Kenya, on a budget, you start budgeting until I'm going to earn $1,000 in a week, and then you change the currency, and then you're like, I'll be getting 100K in a week. That's the worst mistake you can do. Changing dollars into Kenya shillings. Usifanye hivyo. Usifanye hivyo. Don't do that, please. So, for example, you earn $1,000 as your salary. The Canadian government is going to take like $300 or $400 or even less, no, or more, for tax. So instead of your 1,000, you end up with like 600 in your account. Why? Iyo tax yote You think I don't have needs for what? You know, it's like too much. Those are my hours. Like, nimechoka. It's not fair. Anyway, another thing that shocked me over here is tipping. It's not mandatory, but most of the people over here tip when they go to restaurants. And it's not at $1, $2. They tip like 20 bucks, 5 bucks, 15. And in some high-end restaurants, you like in some places you have the option to not tip. But if you go to a high-end restaurant, my friend, they have 20% and all those whatever. So if your bill was high, expect to leave a high tip. That shocked me because literally in Kenya, tipping culture is not common. Let's just be honest. Another thing that shocked me when I moved over here is you cannot self-diagnose. You know, in Kenya, you can say, ati, oh, I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, I think ni UTI, I think ni bacterial infection, I think ni malaria. Over here, my friend, even if you know what it is you're ailing from, you cannot just go and ask for medication. You have to get a prescription for even just an antibiotic. And to get that prescription, because we're not residents yet, you have to pay a consultation fee, which is usually $100. Can you imagine? You're paying $100 for consultation just to get a prescription, and you already know you have malaria. Is that fair? That shocked me because, you know, sometimes you know, like for real, you know what's going on, but you don't have access to medication simply like that, which I think is a good thing because sometimes people tend to misuse the drug. So it's good that they've regulated that. Another thing is emergency room, like going to the ER in the hospital. Tell me why. Niambie why. Niambie kwa nini. You have to wait up to 8 hours in the emergency room just to see a doctor in this country. First world country. Why? To be honest, even the hospitals back home, like in Kisumu where I'm from, they're way better than this. Like I had an emergency sometime early this year, and I had to go to the hospital, and I was in so much pain. I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat, like I was not fine. I went to the ER expecting immediate attention. I'm telling you guys, I was seen almost 6 hours later. And you know, I tried telling them, oh please, siski vizuri, at least just do something. And they're like, look, there's all these people waiting, so there's nothing we can do. And I was like people were coming in with the ambulance, and I'm like, what about those guys? And they're like, they also have to wait. We only tend to people who are having a heart attack, stroke, and those things serious, like you're going to die. Only if you're not dying, my friend, you can wait. Yeah, in Canada. And they think our healthcare system is bad. Man, I think we are better. I think tuko sawa. Another thing is picking up dog poop. It wasn't really a shock, but it's nice. I like it. I like how responsible people are. When your dog poops on the street, you pick it up. It's good. It helps maintain a clean environment, so that's a good thing. It wasn't really a shock, but yeah, especially now, like I have a dog, so every time my dog poops, I have to pick up the poop too. So, and it's really inconveniencing when I'm walking my dog and we find someone didn't pick up like their dog's poo. And you know, it can transmit diseases to your dog as well. So it's just good to just pick up poo. And then another thing that shocked me is how strict they are with seatbelts on this side. Let's be honest, guys, hamufungangi seatbelt, especially watu wa backseat. The guys in the backseat don't even care. They don't funga their seatbelts. But over here, like, you must always have your seatbelt on. It's just like that. Hivyo tu, unazoea tu. And like when I went to Kenya last year, it felt so strange seeing everyone just free. I think you guys need to do that more. You know, seatbelts save lives. Do not overspeed. Y'all drive safe. We still need you. Another thing that shocked me is retirement homes. Why would you leave your old mom or dad or parents by themselves just because you now have a wife and kids? Like, I get the concept, like in Kenya we leave them in the village and everything, but over here they don't even come to see their parents sometimes. Like, old people on this side are super lonely. Like, they're so lonely, and sometimes when I'm walking or like where I work, when I meet old people, that's their time to talk, and some of them will want to talk to you like the whole time because of how lonely they are. So that shocked me. Like, people don't care about me. Man, I love my parents. Shout out mama, shout out papa, I love y'all.